Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here, and in this video I will be covering Steve Reeves' very first full body training routine, which he used at the beginning of his bodybuilding career as a teenager. Prior to that, I just want to give a bit of background on Steve during his youth and how he came about to train with weights. In a recent article I read, it is reported that Reeves may have actually even used shoulder braces very early on in his life for a short while during his teens, but threw them away because they were uncomfortable and pinched his skin. That's just a bit of trivia there. And apparently was already trying to find a way of helping his condition of round shoulders at a very young age. Anyway, in the several biographies written about Steve Reeves, Steve apparently was challenged in an arm wrestling match against a much smaller teen in stature, and although Steve thought he would easily beat him, he was amazed at the strength of this young man. So he asked him how he developed his strength, and the young chap showed him his garage gym and showed Steve the basic movements that constituted his very first workout program. According to Steve, he worked out with this young teen for a few months and then bought a set of weights of his own after saving money from his newspaper route, which, by the way, Steve attributes to the growth of his calves. So after buying his first set of weights, Steve began training at home in Oakland, California in his garage with the new weights he had bought. And according to the interviews with Steve Reeves, he wrote his workout on his garage wall where he had set up his basic gym, and he wrote the workout in black crayon, whilst the weights and reps that he used were written in white chalk so they could easily be updated. George Helmer, who was a friend of Steve Reeves, found out that Steve would write his workouts on the wall and was able to remove the section of the wall which is now owned by Scott York Fitness, who released these images in a video online. As you can see, the wooden segment of the wall has Steve Reeves' first workout written as described with black crayon and white chalk, and went as follows. Steve would perform cleans with 115 pounds for 7 reps, the shoulder press with 115 pounds for 10 reps, curls with 75 pounds for 15 reps, bench curls with 55 pounds for 15 reps, the leaning row or the bent over row with 105 pounds for 10 reps, bench presses with 155 pounds for 10 reps, squats with 200 pounds for 12 reps, supersetted with pullovers using a 40-pound dumbbell for 40 reps, back bends, which are basically good mornings, at least I assume they are, with 150 pounds for 20 reps. He would also perform dumbbell laterals using 40-pound dumbbells for 30 reps, upright rows using 75 pounds for 10 reps, front raises using 30-pound dumbbells for 10 reps, the dumbbell press using 75 pounds for 10 reps, and the curl behind the neck, which is a tricep exercise, with 35 pounds for 15 reps. And finally, he would perform stomach exercises, I'm assuming some kind of a crunch or sit-up or leg raise, for 20 repetitions. Now, it's obvious from Steve's photos here, we can clearly see the transformation after working out on this routine for several months. The first photo of him being a very young teenager, and of course his transformation is very impressive at just 15 years of age. You can really see, I mean, of course he would have grown between the ages of 12 and 15, but you can already see the muscularity that he had developed at just the young age of 15. And of course, he put on 20 pounds of muscle on this program and soon after joined Ed Yarrick's gym, and well, the rest is history. So reflecting on this workout, it is obvious that Steve chose to use high reps, and although he has not mentioned it, it appears that he has even selectively been working on his ribcage early on in his career by performing squats supersetted with dumbbell pullovers, which were performed for 40 repetitions. And I mean, that's a lot of ribcage expansion work. Of course, ribcage expansion has a dual role in mobilizing the scapula and as well, of course, as expanding the ribcage. And both of these attributes that you get from ribcage expansion work may have also, of course, contributed to Steve's wide shoulder frame, which he has suggested, and I describe, of course, in the Steve Reeves booklet on shoulders, which I sell on my website. This piece of history that shows Steve Reeves' earliest workout should also put a rest to the many myths of Reeves, for example, that he never performed barbell squats, or never did any ribcage expansion work, or even worked his traps. It is clear from this workout that he definitely did all of these things and more. Although it is not stated, I'm pretty sure that Reeves would have performed this routine 3 times a week, as he did with most of his full body routines throughout his bodybuilding career. It is unclear as to how many sets he performed though, but nevertheless, what is also obvious is that his rep range for delts was high as well, again showing his focus on creating the illusion of greater width. He performed many exercises, in fact, for his shoulders, performing barbell presses, dumbbell presses, side lateral raises, and front lateral raises. He also focused on his biceps, performing bench curls and regular barbell curls, whilst only performing behind the neck curls for triceps, but that may have been because he was doing sufficient pressing work on his chest and shoulders, which of course activates the triceps as well. One can also argue that he performed sufficient back work, performing cleans, bent over rows, good mornings, and upright rows. What I also find fascinating is that he included both upright rows and cleans, which of course hit the traps. It is true that Steve did state in his last publication, Building the Classic Physique the Natural Way, that he did not like working traps because he found that it could destroy his aesthetic presentation. But it would be ludicrous to state that he never did, as his wall clearly shows that. And Steve acknowledged that he did because he was alive when this wall was removed and returned to him. And he actually included this wall, this image of the wall, in his many biographies. So the myth that Reeves never worked traps should also be put to rest. So I do hope you have enjoyed this look at Steve Reeves's first workout routine, and if you have, please give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and please leave me your comments. Personally, I think this is a great routine for beginners to start off with, and I hope that in sharing this information and explaining it in more detail, that it can help you, especially if you are a beginner looking at starting bodybuilding. During the Silver era, full body routines that incorporated compound movements were commonplace and produced some fabulous and natural physiques. So I hope that this can help you. Anyway, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now. Now, if you're interested in learning more about how Steve Reeves developed his ribcage, I've got a wonderful new e-booklet up on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com, which explains a very rare and unpublished Reeves ribcage and full body routine. Of course, my website has many other booklets on Steve Reeves's methods, specifically how I developed my waist, how I developed my broad shoulders, and another ebook on how he developed his wonderful diamond-shaped calves. All available on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the Silver Era methods for spreading the scapula, I've been asked about this many times before. Check out my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com, where you're going to find, in particular, the book by Steve Reeves on broadening the shoulders. Steve explains many exercises that he used in particular, and he believes actually also help spread the scapula apart. You'll find this and much more on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com. Need a bodybuilding poster for your gym or office? Then check out Iron Man Magazine archive.smugmug.com for the highest quality posters on the planet. Scroll through the galleries of all the legends, including greats such as Arnold, Frank Zane, Sergio Oliva, Serge Nubret, Tom Platz, and Larry Scott, and much more, and select your poster now. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Vince Gironda's approach to bodybuilding, his principles, and all these tips of wisdom that he has, I mean, there's so much stuff that probably hasn't been proven by science, and it will take science to prove or disprove Vince. But to be honest, these 3 books, I believe, which I call the Classic Physique bundle, are the best books that Vince ever came out with. And they, of course, are the Wild Physique, the Master Series, and the Pro Series. Have a look at it this way. The Wild Physique, I believe, is like the ABCs of Vince Gironda's principles to bodybuilding. He teaches you the exercises and his principles. But how do you put them together? Well, the Master Series is a 14-month program of using all of these principles, all of the diets that Vince came out with, all of the exercises. And believe me, it's a brilliant program. Many people have used it. I know personally a lot of bodybuilders that have actually used it and made fantastic results with it. And of course, the Pro Series was a book that he came out with later on, specially targeted for getting into competition. It's just these three books, as I call it, the Classic Physique bundle, are Vince's best work, and available, of course, at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Now, the Pro Series of Bodybuilding, which was targeted for professional bodybuilders, contains 6 programs, each of which go for 2 months each. So it's a whole year, again, in preparation for competition. To support your favorite YouTube channel, please visit teespring.com/stores/goldenerabookworm for merchandise, including t-shirts, hoodies, face masks, phone cases, and much, much more. Once again, at teespring.com/stores/goldenerabookworm. Become a patron at www.patreon.com/goldenerabookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding. To take full advantage of my collaborations, use code GEB20 with nspnutrition.com and vincegeronda.com, as well as code bookworm12 at osl.com for a discount at checkout.